Hey guys, KangaskKid18 here, and even though Gamefreak made us wait over 3 months without any Pokemon Sword and Shield news, boy, it was all worth it, because today we finally got an in-depth look at these new games. And there's a lot of cool features to unpack here. They range from the awesome, like the all-new Wild area, a place between cities where Pokemon can roam free in a quasi-open world habitat. And it well and truly seems that simple random encounters are a thing of the past, as the Galar region features tall grass that positively abounds with new Pokemon. I can't tell you how cool I think this feature is. It's one of the few standouts of the Pokemon Let's Go games, and as much as I wanted it to be a mainline element going forward, I was sure that it would remain a feature of that series. And yet here we are. Not only are Pokemon in the overworld different by route, but they also differ by weather condition and time of day. This really makes the Pokemon world seem alive, and I'm very happy to see it. But there are some aspects of the game that I'm not happy about. Dynamaxing seems incredibly gimmicky to me. Simply giant Pokemon duking it out in battle. I've always been about the Pokemon collecting aspect of these games and less about the competitive battling, so this seems like a feature that I'm going to use as little as humanly possible. And then there's raids. While I understand the need for some kind of multiplayer gameplay aspect, it seems kind of lame to rip off a feature from Pokemon Go. And don't get me wrong, I love Pokemon Go. It's just, I think the things that made it unique as a mobile game should stay unique to it. Anyway, ranting aside, it's clear that the Galar region is a beautiful place, bustling with people and Pokemon. Speaking of Pokemon, let's get down to the main reason we're here, shall we? Gamefreak revealed several brand new Pokemon at today's Direct, the first of which is also my favorite. It's the little lamb Pokemon, Wooloo, or at least that should be its species. Rather, Gamefreak has given it the much lamer species of the sheep Pokemon. But no matter what, I love this Pokemon, not only because it's incredibly adorable, but also because its name sounds like something a priest would say in Age of Empires. Yeah, I'm old school like that. Anyway, Wooloo is awesome, and so I think that it deserves similarly awesome shinies. To start off with, let's turn this Wooloo a bright pink overall, with amber eyes and cyan facial features. This makes Wooloo look like a big old puff of cotton candy. Sorry. Candy floss, as we are in the Galar region after all. Excuse the accent. But in addition, it also closely resembles the shiny for a previous sheep Pokemon, and another personal favorite of mine, Mareep. So let's try to make Wooloo a little more unique. Now, Gamefreak has shown us more and more in recent generations that they prefer to make one bold color change to a shiny and call it a day. So let's take a leaf out of that book. Instead of a light and fluffy sheep, let's make Wooloo's shiny the black sheep of the family, with the pigtails getting a little darker than the rest of the wool. And if Gamefreak is going to keep up its track record and only change one color on the shiny, this is exactly what they should do. But it just seems like there's something missing. What if we were to take Wooloo's body and turn it white instead? Almost an inverse of its original colors. Now we've really got something cooking. If Wooloo looks anything like this in game, it is for sure gonna be one of my all-time favorites. But if not, I don't mind. Wooloo is just too adorable to hate. And if Gamefreak is only going to change one color for Wooloo's shiny, I'd bet they're going to do the exact same thing with our next Pokemon. It's Gossifleur, the flower Pokemon. I think. Let me check on that. Oh, sorry, the flowering Pokemon. Nice one, Gamefreak, much less lazy than before. Anyway, Gamefreak could definitely take the easy way out here and change the color of Gossifleur's flower, close up shop, and call it a day. But this is so boring, and a prime example of why, even though a bold color change is a good way to start a shiny design, all its other colors should change as well to complement it. So let's show Gamefreak how it's done and change everything else on Gossifleur as well. The hairdo becomes a deep crimson red, the body gets a nice chartreuse, the face becomes golden, and heck, even the eyes turn a shade of deep plum. And all of a sudden, the shiny's been elevated from something totally mediocre to something that's really nice to look at. All Gamefreak has to do is follow suit, but there's other ways we can change this shiny as well. Perhaps purple isn't quite the right color for this shiny flower. Maybe orange will fit the aesthetic I've created just a little better. Or we could go a totally different route and make the body purple all over while the flower turns a nice mellow pink. Any of these shinies could work, but I think I've made my decision. In my opinion, this would make the best possible shiny for Gossifleur. But Gossifleur doesn't stop there. Give it enough experience and eventually it'll evolve into the big puff-headed cotton bloom Pokemon, Eldegoss. and I really love Eldegoss. I'm not sure why. I think it's because it reminds me a bit of Disco Stew from The Simpsons. But I do have one question. Where the hell are its legs? Is it just a head that floats there? What the heck, Game Freak? In any case, I think Eldegoss would look best with a relatively subtle shiny change. The body should turn these nice autumn tones overall, while the cotton balls should turn a pure white with dark blue seeds. There's not a whole lot to change here, and ironically, I think the most subtle part of the shiny is what really sets it apart. Barely changing the hue of the cotton gives this shiny a whole new lease on life, and I like it so much that even though I've come up with an alternate shiny, Eldegoss is for the most part gonna stay the same. Pure white cotton on top, but this time a much more verdant green color scheme going on underneath. These shinies both seem to represent the seasons of spring and fall, and while I like them both, I think that the one with the autumn colors is the best. Next up is a Pokemon which has, in my opinion, one of the better names of all time. It's the bite Pokemon, Drednaw. Really, Game Freak? Bite Pokemon? Can we please get more original with our species? Anyway, I thought that Drednaw had a really random design until I realized what it's based off of. It looks like it's supposed to be an alligator snapping turtle, which is one of the largest turtle species we have here in the United States. Every once in a while in spring, we'll be walking along a trail and all of a sudden spot a massive female snapper that's hauled itself out of the water to lay its eggs. It's truly something to behold, and while I like its design origin, I found Drednaw very difficult to design shinies for, probably because of its highly saturated color scheme. Nevertheless, I'm gonna give it my best shot. So to begin, let's take Drednaw and turn it a dark blue-gray overall, with deeper navy on the shell, lemon yellow around the trim, and a kind of coral color underneath. I think this looks pretty good, but the colors are a little incongruent, and let's face it, we've got a lot of blue shinies out there. So instead, let's make Drednaw a color that we see a lot less often, tan brown, with moss green on the shell, a lighter trim, and let's go ahead and keep that coral color underneath, cause it looked pretty good. Now this looks a lot more like the rock type it's supposed to be, and better shows off Drednaw's awesome power. But Game Freak wasn't done with its surprises, revealing one heck of a crazy looking Pokemon next. It's Corviknight. Would you look at that, a Pokemon based off a raven. I wonder what its species is. Yeah, the Raven Pokemon. Another home run, Game Freak. Anyway, if you know anything about me, it's probably that I love shiny Pokemon. But if you know two things, it should be that I am a bird super nerd. I have traveled all across the country just to see some of our exotic feathered friends, and of them all, ravens are among the most awesome. Sleek, charismatic, and almost as big as an eagle. Seriously. Ravens are also very important to the UK, which the Galar region is based on. For generations, these birds have lived at the Tower of London, and according to legend, the kingdom would fall if the ravens were ever to leave. But maybe they're not as serious about this sort of thing in the Galar region. Here, Corviknight serves as sort of a ride Pokemon, picking up passengers and taking them to towns and cities they've visited in the past. It certainly seems like Game Freak is aiming to get rid of HMs for good, so we'll see how this keeps up in successive updates. Anyway, on to the shinies. I've come up with two different shinies for Corviknight, and I think that each one is awesome in its own way. First off, we could take Corviknight and turn it a deep midnight purple overall, with blistering yellow eyes and raven black for the legs and lower beak. It only seemed to fit is all. Anyway, I think that the shiny looks great, and fully expect the shiny to look similar when we finally see it in game. But I think there's another option, because at the end of the day, Corviknight is more than just a raven. It's also a knight. So let's make it a knight with golden armor, complete with violet eyes and a bronze color underneath. I really think this looks awesome, and honestly, I'm not sure which of my two shinies I like better. I feel very strongly that Corviknight shiny will align with one of these two options. So of course, Game Freak is almost certainly going to come up with something completely different. Finally, we've got the two Pokemon we've been waiting for since February, our Box Legendaries, Zacian and Zamazenta. Now, Game Freak has revealed very little information about these two Pokemon, but knowing their previous track record, they'll probably both be Steel types, and they'll both be the Wolf Pokemon. Honestly, when I first saw them, I was convinced that they were the same Pokemon with two different forms, because it's not like they haven't done that before. Anyway, I definitely planned on getting Pokemon Sword version this generation. The blue logo just called to me. However, I kind of dislike the way that Zacian just holds its sword in its mouth. It seems like an inefficient sword fighting technique. On the other hand, Zamazenta looks bold and majestic, so I'm seriously thinking about getting shield version instead. But who am I kidding? Gamefreak really has my number here, and I'll probably end up getting both. In any case, on to the shinies. Now, legendaries are notoriously difficult to design accurate shinies for, so I just took a stab in the dark and I'll hope for the best. For Zacian, let's take the blue and turn it jet black. Make the undersides pale, give the armor a deeper gold, and turn the pale red color into a brilliant crimson. And as they are counterparts, I will give Zamazenta a similar shiny, jet black overall, white underneath, and a deeper gold, but this time we'll give it bronze highlights. I think these shinies elevate our new legendary Pokemon and make them look exceptionally badass. So naturally, I'm sure Gamefreak will probably just turn them all gold or something. Anyway guys, that's all the shiny speculation I got for you today. Gamefreak seems like they're making a Pokemon game that's unlike anything we've ever seen before. The region is expansive and teeming with life, and I for one am really looking forward to hunting for shinies and once again completing my living shiny dex. Thanks for watching guys, and as always, we're gonna see you on the next shiny. If you like this video, check out the shiny speculation I did of the Galar region starters, or you can check out some of the shinies I've found in the overworld of Pokemon Let's Go.